This is, yeah, I said that with Blackceezar. Still no theme song yet. Yeah, we still ain't got a theme song. Might not do one either. Just this right here. This is just keep it dry like this. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, yo, we just got done with the show. All Wu Tang, Wu Tang, Wu Tang. You know what I'm saying? Not a new stuff, a lot of old stuff, classics. If you know me, you know. If you go, yo, who's the greatest hip hop group of all time? I'm saying Wu Tang. No disrespect to any of that other stuff. No disrespect to Tribe, De La, Run DMC, Bone Thugs, whoever. You know what I'm saying? When you say who's the greatest group, Boot Camp Click, I don't even know. Like, how to. Boot Camp Click is not a group. It's a group of dudes. Kind of like the Hit Squad. But then, but they never like really did a whole album, right? So yeah, Wu Tang was just different. Like if you didn't live it, 1992, 1993, you have no idea the craziness, the pandemoniumness that ensued with Wu Tang. Wu Tang, look, Protect Your Neck was whoa. And I always tell people this story. It took like 2 to 3 months to hear the whole song all the way through. Kiss played the joint. 103 Jams played Method Man. Kiss played Protect Your Neck. So you get in every once in a while, like you'll check out the station, you'll turn the radio on, and it was all. And at one point, all I used to hear was the Jizz's verse. You know what I'm saying? Bring out the girls and let's have a mud fight. And I'm like, yo, what is this? And that Protect Your Neck, Protect Your Neck, as it was fading out. All right, cool. Then a couple of times I just catch the second, and for a while I thought that was the song. Let's Protect Your Neck, boy. Yo, first things first, man. With the verse, I thought that was Old Dirty's verse to the end was the song. I thought that was the song. I was like, yo, this is the rawest joint. Then one time I actually heard the beginning, but I had to leave, so we left. Turned the radio off and left. So I never heard the whole song all the way through. One day, hanging out with my man D Trigger, rest in peace, and he was like, yo, you ever heard this song? It's like a bunch of dudes rapping, and it's like the karate flick sounds all up in it. I'm like, yeah, but I never heard the whole song all the way through. So we're talking. He turns on the radio, and by coincidence, by the grace of God, by whatever, the joint plays all the way through. We like Run DMC's King, You Down with the Kings, with Pete Rock and CL Smooth it was going off, and that joint came on right after it. Quiet in the car. Made no eye contact, just head bobbing and astonishment. Won't know, looking at each other going ooh and ah when the bar hit. Nah, we was just quiet, bobbing our heads, listening to this joint. And he was like, yo, I want to get in a stew right now. I want to cook right now. I want to get up in the lab. I want to make some beats. I want to rhyme. It was phenomenal. People don't like when I see Amazon and Spotify and people, even now, like I guess these fake, and I feel bad saying it that way, but I still feel that way. A lot of these podcasters who want to talk this hip hop music, you could tell they don't understand hip hop starts from the streets. Hip hop, the concept of hip hop is we as a culture made the turntable an official instrument. We did that. We turned the turntable into an instrument. We've turned 2 records into something totally different to extend a break to let the people dance, to let a couple of rappers. Back then, they weren't even really rapping, just MCs telling you how great this DJ was and how good the party is and how everything's cracking. We did that. The sampler that we all love and praised, it wasn't made for us. Them drum machines weren't made for us. We flipped them joints. We came in and we finessed them joints to the point that companies were like, okay, we're going to go out our way to make this for you. You know what I'm saying? So when you listen to the Wu-Tang's first album and you see how grimy these beats are, and you see how ghetto these beats are. You see how lo-fi, because that's what I think when people say lo-fi, what they mean is the quality isn't Dr. Dre excellence. The quality isn't excellent. The samples were dirty. So now you got these dirty samples and these dudes is just rhyming. The hooks, the whole vibe is raw. Like, again, if you don't understand, like, Wu Tang helped bring back a rawness because everybody wanted to be sophisticated. You know what I'm saying? They were telling Naughty by Nature, this is how you make records. Naughty by Nature kind of went with it. Redman, this is how you make records. EPMD, this is how y'all make records. Gangstar, this is how y'all make records. Lord Finesse, this is how you make records. You have to make records like this. Wu Tang just was out here. It was grimy, son. It was really grimy. Like, you could, if you ever listen to a Wu Tang album, especially the first Wu Tang, the Jizza, Method Man, Old Dirty, some of Raekwon, but by Ghostface it definitely cleaned up. But we're talking them first 5 joints. Ooh wee. When I say grimy, you can hear you can hear people in the background on some of them records. You can really hear like dudes not coming in on time. You know what I'm saying? Like there's some joints going on, like the samples not sunk up right, like it's not syncing properly. Yeah, the drum might be off a bit. All of that kept. All of that was in there. And you're like, yo, this is dope. And to hear Protect Your Neck was just grimy. It was raw. And then when you see the video, and they still got the timestamp in the video, and it's just like, yo, their videos look like it should be for a local show. Like they were a local artist giving you, there was no high quality video. Like the Wu Tang album, the video for the Wu Tang album, them joints was so low budgeted. You know what I'm saying? Cream, low budget, but it just looks good. You know what I'm saying? Can it be so simple? Same thing. Like, all of these joints was just like, yo, what is we doing right now? This is crazy. Like, they won't trying to look flashy in the videos. It looked like, yo, you just hanging out with these dudes around the way, chilling. They're enjoying the fruits of their labor. They are out here living their best life, and we get to experience it with them. They weren't kicking it like, yo, we here. We been here. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, Big's first video, he's living the life. These dudes are still in the projects, still doing what they do, still, you know what I mean? Like, Old Dirty. Remember that Old Dirty got famous because he was walking, he had MTV going with him to go get his food stamps. And they were like, hold on, dog. You part of a whole group that got a record deal. Your records is everywhere. Hold on, you got food stamps. And then put the food stamp card as the album cover. Wu Tang was a whole different movement because what they did, Wu Tang was the first ones that told everybody about how A&Rs really work. Wu Tang was the first ones that told you how the record label really pays artists. You know what I'm saying? Like, there was a point where we knew how the industry moved. TLC was another one back in those days when they was telling you with the Sexy Crazy Cool joint. And they was like, yo, we here, but we ain't got no money. This is how points work. Cause Wu-Tang tapped on that door too. He was like, yo, we gotta split this up amongst 9 individuals because this is all we get. So yeah, I encouraged my brothers to go out here and get deals. Get your own deal so you can get your own joint. You know what I'm saying? Because this Wu-Tang Loud joint is one thing and they got to be broken up. Everybody gets their own individual deal. That's your joint. TLC was telling people about how they had they points and then what they had to split up 3 ways when it was all said and done. The game was all crazy. That was back in the day. So when I hear people who you could tell didn't live through that, I'm like, you're judging this music on today's music. Back in the day, that was the feeling that you wanted from hip hop. You wanted that grimy Lord Finesse, Diamond D. You know what I'm saying? You wanted that Primo. You wanted that Pete Rock. You wanted that Eric Sermon. You wanted that DJ Quick. You know what I'm saying? You wanted that beat to be grimy. You wanted that. It wanted it to have something missing. It didn't have, like, Dr. Dre and what Diddy was doing. They were like the most plush that you can get. That was it. That was excellence. Like a Biggie beat and whatever Dr. Dre was doing. So them Snoop Dogg beats and them Biggie beats, that was next level. Everybody else was grimy. Them KG beats for Naughty by Nature, that was grimy. You know what I'm saying? Y'all ain't understanding. The 90s was a different place. And I'm always watching, listening to these young brothers talk that talk, and it's like, yo, but y'all, hold on. Y'all ain't understanding. Y'all won't there. Y'all don't get it. You know what I'm saying? And then it puts me in a weird basketball place. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel weird saying that, but it takes me to this point because right now we're at a point where somehow we are allowing ourselves to talk crazy about Kobe Bryant. I don't know when that happened. And this is coming from a guy who's never been a Kobe Bryant fan. You know what I'm saying? I could say I'm lost because I was never a Kobe Bryant fan. I remember '96 when they were trying to push Kobe Bryant on us because they didn't want to have Iverson be the face. They didn't want Iverson to be the young face, so they was telling you Kobe, Kobe, Kobe. And out of a lot of those dudes, Kobe was one of the only ones coming off the bench. A lot of them other dudes was put in starter positions, and they were still going Kobe, 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 Kobe. And you're like, yo, how is y'all still trying to push this dude? And he ain't even playing for real. Like, what is y'all talking about? Iverson, my man over here for the Grizzlies, Marbury, a lot of Steve Nash, a lot of these dudes is really out here on the starting line. Ray Allen, these dudes is out here like holding it down for their team. Kobe getting garbage time a little bit. How y'all? You know what I'm saying? So that was always my joint. And then when Kobe got the shine, it was like, I remember those conversations. I think he's gonna be better than Mike. That was the conversation. Yo, he gonna, you know what I'm saying? He's Mike-esque, and he's gonna develop and be better than Mike. I knew people who even said that. I said, man, when it's all said and done, Kobe gonna be better than Mike. I remember that. And it makes me go, yo, I get what Wilt Chamberlain's issue was. You know what I'm saying? Like when you see these old clips of Wilt Chamberlain trying to speak on his legacy, not really downplay Michael's legacy, but at the same time go, we're not the same. I don't want y'all comparing us because we're not the same. And I think that was one of those things even Jordan was saying. He's like, yo, can't put me in that conversation as the best of all time. I didn't play against these dudes. I wasn't playing when them dudes was playing. That's not a, you know what I'm saying? That's a different time, different era. This is a different time, different era. There'll be somebody else coming up. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't make those conversations. And Wilt, I think, appreciated that. I don't know. I can't speak for him. But when you could always tell there was this thing he had about Mike, but then at the same time, when they were around each other, it wasn't Isaiah and Mike, put it that way. It wasn't Isaiah and Mike. It was more like, okay. I know what they trying to do. I know what they trying to do too. All right, cool. You know what I mean? That was one of them type of joints. You know what I mean? It's like, yo, and I think that's one reason with this LeBron thing, Mike just sits back because Mike is like, oh, y'all did this with Wilt. Y'all trying to do this with me. It is what it is. I'm not going to be like Wilt and Huff and Puff. Mike goes, I believe that. Because there'll be a time where my name won't be recognizable. There'll be a time where my accolades won't be recognized. There'll be a point where I'll be part of the past, and this is where it's at right now. I get that. And he fell back. People, you know what I'm saying? My thing is, that's Mike. Kobe is still a little more recent to a degree, right? Like, he's still somewhat recent. You know what I'm saying? I know it's been years, almost like a decade or so, but the point is, there's still dudes playing who played against Kobe. You know what I'm saying? There's still a couple of dudes who's on their last leg who's like, yeah, I played against Kobe. Like, that is a crazy conversation. Like, there was nobody in the league who was like, yeah, I played against Wilt my rookie year. That was playing with Jordan when they was having those conversations with Jordan. You know what I'm saying? There was rarely anybody who was like, yeah, I played against Bulls Mike, by the way. We ain't talking about Warriors Mike. We ain't talking about Wizards Mike. We talking about Bulls Mike. Yeah, I played against other than a Kobe Bryant at that time. like Kobe and Steve Nash and them. And then, like I said, by the time you get into him going back to Cleveland and going against the Warriors all the time, LeBron, yeah, those dudes is faded out now. Those dudes is coaches other than Kobe, right? So yeah, like where did we get to this point where we just start talking about, yeah, Kobe trash, Kobe overrated? Like, hold on, Kobe. Alright. But it is what it is, you know what I'm saying? Here's a piece of news. I'm gonna say this, and I feel weird as I do this. So, South Carolina, somewhere in South Carolina, a few weeks ago, about a month or so ago, a female employee of Burger King went viral for doing a 12-hour shift dolo. And she was doing everything. She said there was a time she had to shut the drive-thru down because she couldn't really be doing it that way. But she rocked it. Now, there was an interview where she said she's not, like, this ain't the first time. This has happened a couple of times before where, you know what I'm saying, it had to be handled. Burger King fired this broad. You know what I'm saying? They fired her. And I'm trying to be respectful as I say this. I find it interesting when the people who criticize her are also the same people trying to call you lazy. Like, hold on. I gotta pull the phone out for this one, y'all. I gotta pull the phone out. Hold on, let me go to this joint, because I'm gonna read you some comments, and I don't get any of what I'm reading. That's the whole point. So I'm reading this joint. Hold on, let me get to these comments. All right. Now, I don't know who this person is. Actually, it's a lack of leadership. If she was a good manager, she'd have people come in. She wasn't even a manager. She was a regular employee who, when she said, I ain't had nobody, we didn't have anybody come in, you know what I'm saying? That's just speaking on team and camaraderie. You know what I'm saying? We've all known somebody, you know what I'm saying? We all take ownership sometimes on some stuff. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, but she wasn't a manager. She was just a regular employee. That was the whole joint. Like, I don't even think it would even have been a story if she was a manager, because people would have been like, well, that's what a manager is supposed to do. You stepped in because you stepped in. You had to take that brunt. You got to do what you do. Regular employee. You know what I'm saying? That's one joint. Somebody goes, they always want a city hall job. I don't even understand what that means. Again, here's the crazy part about this. The woman who was videotaping her, by the way, also was called out. People came for her. I don't even understand that. You're at the spot and you're like, yo, I'm coming to get me a Whopper or whatever. I'm like, yo, I know there's just only one person. Let me pull my phone out. Yo, Burger King, y'all got to do better. It's only one person doing this. How long you been doing this, mama? This is like hour 8. I can't go nowhere till the next group of people come in, so that ain't going to be till another 4 hours, so I'm going to end up doing 12 hours. Y'all tripping, Burger King. That gets her to go viral. People are like, how do you blame her? And fired her. And she was like, yo, as much as it was a blessing for people to see what I go through, they fired me. I wish I could take it back, was what she said. She was like, I wish it never happened. Because she wasn't complaining. Even when the news people were talking to her, she didn't complain. She was like, it happens. It ain't the first time. So when I see people's comments, I'm like, are y'all not following the whole story? Did y'all really just take this piece and then run with your own imagination? Because I don't see what the issue is with that joint. So, you know what I'm saying? Poor thing. You actually had to work. Suck it up, crybaby. Again, wasn't crying. You know what I'm saying? Oh, poor baby has to work. Suck it up, lady. That's what you signed up for. Don't get it. Here's one from somebody who got a like Bart Simpson avatar thing profile picture. I hope she understands that nobody is forcing her, and making it viral lets other companies know that she'll do the same thing to them, making her a liability. First of all, let me stop. Nobody's forcing her to work. So what was she supposed to do? Just shut the whole building down? You definitely getting fired for doing that. Don't get it twisted. You go, you know what? hey, lock the building up and I'm going to go through the gas station. Because it was connected to a gas station, by the way. This Burger King was connected to a gas station. Gas station people were like, oh, we don't flip burgers. We don't drop fries. We don't do none of that. I ain't making no sandwiches. I push the button for the pump. Pump 2, bloop. That's what I do. I check people out when they buy cigarettes and beer. Bloop, bloop. That I ain't got time. I ain't making no sandwiches. I ain't sweeping no floors in that joint. Nah, son. I ain't doing none of that. I ain't wrapping a sandwich. I ain't doing nothing. May I take your order with a headset? None of that. We ain't doing none of that. They ain't paying me double to go over there and work at Burger King. You know what I'm saying? So that's that. So when I hear that comment, like that's the comment that really threw me off. Like, nobody was forcing her. But if you closed it, you're fired. And making it viral lets other companies know that you might do the same to them. Like she made it go viral. Like she said, hey girl, turn the phone on and show me out. She never even turned around and acknowledged the lady. She was still like, if you watch the video, she's still working while this chick is talking. She's doing what she needs to do for the customers. Nobody's going to hire you because you'll be a liability. Technically, that's the kind of worker most people want. They're going to get it in regardless. That's the person you need. You know what I'm saying? Because, again, wasn't complaining, won't just sit in there. It ain't like the lady walked in and was like, yo, can I get it? Oh, nah, girl, we ain't doing nothing like that today. It's just me. Huh? What you mean it's just you? It's just me. That ain't happening today. Oh, okay. So what are we going to do? I don't know what you're going to do. Then you pull out the phone and go, this woman is the only person working in Burger King and she ain't doing no work. Y'all need to do something about this Burger King. Where to work at? It won't that kind of video. It was a video where this chick is working and that was the conversation as she was working that she's having. Never turned around and was cheesing at the camera or none of that. The game is crazy. I saw a video where apparently the people were too busy to help that the person actually went around the corner and got their own food, put it in a bag, and walked off. Just their food, just the stuff that they ordered. It ain't even like they was out here doing more than that. They just got the stuff that they ordered. Ooh, this looks like what I ordered. This is what I ordered. Here's a drink. Boom, boom, boom. And walked off with a full group of people. You know what I'm saying? We were huffing and puffing on her in the comments at that lady who had did that with a group full of people. Like if the woman holding the phone had been like, girl, let me come back in and at least get my food. You know what I'm saying? Where does it end? Like, how are you a liability when you're basically showing in a video that you work? You gets it in. This woman had you go viral. And again, they went at the woman. Like they started going at her like, how dare you? You exploited this woman. You brought truth to the light. Everybody has been if you work in any place that has to have multiple people doing stuff, everybody has been in that situation. Everybody who's really worked. And I've been to mechanics. I've been to a tire place. I've been to brake places where they got one person. There's a gang of cars. It's still got to get done. Somebody got to still put them brakes and change that oil. That job got to get done. They ain't just close it down. You know what I'm saying? That person still had to work. I worked at the Hotel Marriott, downtown, Kansas City. I remember I went in there one time. It was just me. It was me and 3 other women. Got to put all the stuff in the washer. Got to put all the stuff in the dryer. The stuff has to be folded. Has to be given to the people to take upstairs. They didn't even have a lot of housekeepers. They had like 3 housekeepers. People had to navigate with each other to get this job done. You know what I'm saying? I've went into places like Planet Sub. Busy. Ain't nothing but one person there. Taking the orders and making the subs. And the only people that seemed to not get it were the people who felt like they were entitled. Everybody else just fell back. Like, take your time, man. Hey, it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Other people, oh my God. You can't move faster. You can't move faster with 20 orders by yourself. Have you ever walked into a sub place? It takes a team. You're making these sandwiches. This ain't no pre-order. I just tossed it in the microwave and here you go. You're making these joints. You're cutting the bread. You're putting the whatever's on it. You want your joint cold, you want your joint heated. Boom, boom, boom. Wrapping it, giving the people the fries. Here's the drinks. One person didn't complain. I rolled at a lot of those comments, but didn't complain. You know what I'm saying? When you see people say stuff like this, you realize these are people who have never been in situations where they gotta move like that. You know what I'm saying? But that's where we at right there. And then I saw one person say, if you're self-employed, that's an average day. You know, if you're self-employed, that's an average day. I go to a food truck. Food truck got like 2 or 3 people in there. I've been to restaurants where it's self-employed. They got a staff. You know what I'm saying? Now, with that being said, I've been self-employed before. You know what I'm saying? I've washed windows dolo before because that was my company. You know what I'm saying? That was also at my own time frame. You know what I'm saying? As long as if it takes this long to do it, it's going to take this long to do it. That's on me because it's me by myself. You know what I'm saying? In a situation, and those people who windows I'm washing, they could care less. They just want the product clean. They just want to make sure their glass is clean. You know what I'm saying? You work in a restaurant. That's a team. You need a team. Ain't nobody out here. You know what I'm saying? I went to pizza spots where it's just somebody out in the cut pulling the joints out, chopping it up while there's somebody taking orders. It's always more than one person. So when somebody goes, oh yeah, you know, if you're self-employed, that's an average day. For what? For what? Not that. Not running a franchise Burger King. That you ain't gonna walk up into too many Burger Kings, McDonald's and Wendy's, Taco Bell's, Cane's, where they dolo. You know what I'm saying? Nah. Why are we, again, these are people trying to downplay that. Like, and good, I'm cool with it. You know what I'm saying? Like I said, and there's people who are like, yo, we would have just closed the joint. You know what I'm saying? But that's what got you fired even more. You know what I'm saying? Somebody said, yo, I would have just took dumps up in the joint, messed the plumbing up. They don't care nothing about that. Not on drive-through. That's when you just hold a drive-through. You know what I'm saying? They be like, yo, how bad is the plumbing? Drive-through. Nobody can come up in here, but you can definitely get your drive-through on unless you flood in the joint and then there's doo-doo water all over the place. You know what I'm saying? A clogged up toilet, drive-through. That ain't gonna do it. They ain't gonna cut it. We're at a point now where we're always here. We're in this weird, I don't want to relate to your problems. Which, by the way, she didn't complain. And I think that's the part everybody keeps overlooking. She didn't complain. Burger King felt the bad publicity, was like, ooh, we got to fix this. It's your fault. We're firing you. Not the managers. Because, by the way, managers know what's going on. Managers look on, real managers be at home, just out of the, who's working? Ain't nobody there but Shorty. Hey, it's just you? Yeah, it's just me. Hold on, click. Either they gonna get dressed and go over there and help, or they gonna call around like, yo, why aren't y'all here? Again, worked at the hotel. Remember being home. Hello? Yeah, I know this your day off and all that, but they ain't got nobody here. I ain't there right now. Can you get there? You know what I'm saying? Cool. So it's not like that's not impossible. The managers should be held accountable. Also, we ain't doing that. That's, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's where the real ill comes in at. Like, yo, how y'all didn't catch up with these people and go, yo, how did y'all allow this to happen? What's going on? Now, because he even goes, yeah, one Shorty just walked off. And Shorty walked off because she was like, oh, it's just me and you in a Burger King during the rush hour? Oh, nah, girl, I'm sorry. I got to go. I ain't built for that. Like, woof. You should leave with me. 2 jobs, by the way. That's the other part that people also overlook. She got fired from this joint, but she also has another job. So now that, and if anything, that just goes to you how much we really need to raise our wages. That this woman has 2 jobs. One job where she did 12 hours. Who knows? Maybe that was her off day at the other job. but still would probably have to go back and do another 8 hours somewhere else. 12 and 8. I don't know if y'all understand what the math is on that. That's 20 hours. It's only 24 hours in a day. When is this woman sleeping? You know what I'm saying? Like, when is this woman sleep? When is this woman being a mother to her kids? You know what I'm saying? If she worked 12 hours and then probably had to do 8 hours at the other gig, again, assuming she had to work that day at the other gig, but maybe it was a day off and the 12 hours just, well, cool, it is what it is. I got this. And here's the wild thing. I bet you she didn't get that OT. I bet you the next day they were like, oh, mama, you got to go home early. We can't let you get no overtime. You mess around and put your heart and soul into it. And they go, ooh, that's all cool and everything, but we can't give you that OT. You got to go home early. Hold on. I was up in this joint dolo for 12 hours. You cutting my joint so I don't get over 40? Yeah. We can't get no OT. That's not even OT. That's you know what I'm saying? That's a hero's bump. Y'all need to let me eat. What you talking about? You know what I'm saying? We're in an era, first of all, and here's a crazy piece that I don't think anybody, even for all these people who have negative stuff to say to her, we're in a spot now where the average person doesn't go above and beyond. They don't. Nor should they be asked to. We're the generation that watched our parents bust their ass to come away with nothing. Spots will watch you kill the game, do the overtime, come in on them days you sick. Ooh, my kid's graduation. I see if I can get off early enough to get there. You might get there and you still got your work clothes on. Oh, it's my kid's first day of school. I want to be we ain't got nobody to cover that. Let me come in later then. Okay, you come in late, gonna have to point you for that. You know what I'm saying? I don't want to get no points. Hey, can you take my kid to school for me? Thank you. First day of school, I missed it. Oh, my kid wants to go trick-or-treating at this place over here. I gotta go to work. My kid has a Christmas play. I gotta go to work. We're from that generation where parents were like, I'm trying to put food on your table. Don't get mad because I didn't show up. And we respected that. Where it got weird for us was when those jobs didn't respect that. Because then it's like, oh, it's time to cut back. Clip, you gone. It's somebody, and the wild part is you hear these people, uncles, aunts, pops, mom, neighbors go, yeah, you know, the boss is like, he don't want to do it and he wish he could fight more for my job, but it's above his pay grade. It's people in rooms that don't know what you're doing, going, and we can cut that. You know, she's very dedicated. That's a very dedicated woman. You know, she do XYZ. That's a very dedicated dude. He does it. He goes above and beyond. We need to make cuts. Let him go. Then next thing you know, 3 months. Hey, why is this happening? Well, you know, that one person you cut, that was the person that used to make sure all of that stuff got done. Want me to call him back? We'll be all right. That is the part of the game that I think we don't keep looking at, right? Because we grew up off of that. We grew up of watching our families, our elders, break their back, bust their ass, get injured, have injuries that are lifelong, chronic pain that the job won't pay for. The job won't accept that that's the reason until 20, 30 years later, then you see one of them commercials. If you worked at such and such, from this time to this time, you may be eligible. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's, you know what I mean? That type of joint. So now you got a generation like us. We come in, it's like, nah, I ain't doing all that, bro. I'm doing this right here. So, and she's 25. She was like, nah, I'm going to do what I got to do. And the person who probably walked off on it probably was older than her going, girl, they don't care. And I'm pretty sure as soon as that happened, so that one chick, when she saw that thing, they fight. Hey, girl, I told you they don't care. But it ain't even about you. That made them look bad. What we should be doing, if people really care, is just boycotting Burger King. Just stop dealing with Burger King altogether. Let Burger King burn in flame. Let that be the nail in Burger King's coffin. Like, just don't deal with Burger King anymore. You had a worker who went above and beyond for no reason. And that's really at the end of the day, let's keep it real. For no reason. She wasn't a manager. Just a regular employee. She wasn't even a manager in training. Just a regular employee. And y'all saw that and was like, ooh, gotta let you go. This guy with the Simpsons face goes, that makes you a liability. No other job will want you. I doubt that, because that's what a lot of these jobs want. These jobs want someone who's willing to go above and beyond, because a lot of people don't. A lot of people don't. A lot of people just like, nah, I ain't doing that. Hey, can we get you to stay? Would you like to stay a couple of? Nah, I'm done. I get out at 3. It's 2:58. We could talk for 2 minutes and I'm gonna walk off. I'm leaving. Them joints is done. You know what I'm saying? This is the world of, I'm gonna take my 2 breaks and my hour lunch. We ain't, nah, nope. You know what I'm saying? And when I break, I'm gone. Like Bernie Mac said, when they break, they break. Yeah, don't be calling for me. Don't be asking me what I'm doing. Nah, son, I put the phone on mute. I turned the walkie on. I left the walkie in my locker. I'm on my break. They out here calling. The lock, like, who locker is this? That's your man's locker. He on break. He on break. Yeah, he ain't coming. He ain't put the shot y'all calling him for. You know what I'm saying? Don't be talking to him when he ain't on the clock. Hey, can we? I ain't even got to the time clock yet. I just walked through the door. Don't talk to me yet. Wrong with you? You know what I'm saying? Them. That's what we are. That's the average worker today. You know what I'm saying? And that's no disrespect, because again, we're the people who have seen that. There are people who are going to see this and go, yeah, son, that's why. And that was a lot of comments too. That's why I don't go above and beyond. That's why you will never see me be that person. Those were the comments. I just gave you the comments of people somehow trying to make it seem like she was crying that she had to work alone. Never cried. Was having a conversation. She was good with it. She was at peace with it. Like, again, you could tell this wasn't a first time thing. It's what it is. And she handled it like a champion. If anything, you should have been trying to figure out what to do for her. Because they said they were like, you know what I'm saying, safety hazards and liabilities, but they never said she should have closed. You know that. Like, when you look up Burger King's comments, they never said she should have closed. They were like, she endangered herself. She did this, she did that. They never said she should have closed. You know why? Because that would have been the part that would have got her fired. So they're telling you, we didn't want you to close, but you should have found another way to do it, which is how? How? What's the other way? You know what I'm saying? Y'all aren't saying you should have closed. Y'all are going, she shouldn't have been there by herself. And at the same time, not holding the managers accountable for that situation. Whose fault is that then? What was she supposed to do? If you didn't want her to close, but you also didn't want her to be by herself. Do, 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 do. Nobody knows. Do, 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 do. That's all I'm saying. We're at this weird space where we, you know what I'm saying? And I'm a person, I like to read between lines. I like to listen. I like to watch. I like to observe. I'm checking out the vibe. And like I said, looking at, when you go to these people's pages, you realize, oh, these are the people that will probably never find themselves in that situation. And oh man, that's just another day in the life if you were self-employed. Not as a restaurant. So stop playing, son. Stop. I never went to a restaurant, never went to a fast food place, never went, especially Dolo, an independent entrepreneurial spot where it was nobody but the person who cooked, who's the owner. Yeah, I own this place. I'm going to cook this food, and then I'm going to do these dishes, and I'm going to come back. Hold on, son. I'll take everybody orders, find a seat, and ain't nobody doing that. Ain't nobody doing that. They're going to close. And let you know, people weren't here today, so we shut it down. And that's what you'll do. You'll be like, oh, man, they ain't had no... And you'll tell the next dude, hey, yo, man, I'm about to go to such and such. They closed, B. Yeah, I just came from there. They got a sign saying ain't nobody showed up for work, so the owner just shut the place down. Oh, word? That's crazy. Life. So when that person's telling you, if you had your own joint, stop playing, dog. Stop lying to yourself. That's why we can't... People just don't. Look, I said that last week. People so desperately want to act like it's not what it is. Like there aren't people who really got to be out here putting it down, working, or like working is now like something that you can't identify with. You know what I'm saying? While we at the topic of people we can't identify with, I gotta play this piece. I gotta figure out how we gonna play this. Your boy Trump, and he said this a while ago too. So, and I just hadn't gotten to it. It's one of them joints where you're just like, what, bro? Did you say what? You tripping, Joe. You tripping. Trump is out here on something different. I can't believe you said that, bro. Hold on, here we go. Let me get to it.
But Mr. President, I just want to hear you clearly. You're saying that people who have been here for years and who have been even paying taxes, you're going to look at them very differently, and maybe they belong here in the workforce?
I want to work with them, and in some cases we're sending them back to their country with a pass back in legally, and we're doing things that are very difficult to do and very complex, but it works really well. We're sending them back, and then they're schooling, they're learning, they're coming in legally. We have a lot of that going on. But we're taking care of our farmers. We can't let our farmers not have anybody. These people that you can't replace them very easily. People that live in the inner city are not doing that work. They're just not doing that work. And they've tried. We've tried. Everybody tried. They don't do it. These people do it naturally. I said, what happens if they get it to a farmer the other day? What happens if they get a bad back? He said, they don't get a bad back, sir, because if they get a bad back, they die. I said, that's interesting, isn't it? These are very, in many ways, they're very, very special people. Okay, go ahead.
Your man is wild, son. He said, he basically put down like two different people at the same time. I remember a few months ago when like a couple of those places, like the orange spots had the white people trying to, and the white people were like, I can't do this. And it was like, they don't even last a day. Nah, son. You know what a farmer, they say the average is $17 and some change, but you can make at least $10. So in my mind, I'm thinking what the real average is probably like 13. It's a middle ground. Ain't nobody making 17. You know what I'm saying? Unless you're very skilled at what you do. You know what I'm saying? And when I say skilled, I'm talking about you know how to flip the dirt. You know how to plant the seeds. You got all the stuff that you need to do to be a farmer. You know what I'm saying? You know what you're doing. You know how to get it in as a farmer. Picking oranges, picking apples. You know what I'm saying? Picking the corn, shucking the corn, getting the wheat, whatever. Yeah. But to know how to plant, help these people grow the crops on their farm and all that, they might get 17, but everybody else, I'm going to say 13. And who knows what the hours are, because I don't think they're just 8-hour jobs. But the fact that he said the people in the inner city ain't doing it, why would the people in the inner city do it? I'm from around the way. I remember dudes was on the block for no other reason than I don't want to be flipping no burgers for whoop-de-whoop-de-whoop. So they rather sling rocks. They don't flip burgers, they flip birds instead. You know what I'm saying? There's chicks who are like, I work at so-and-so strip club because I don't want to be flipping burgers. God dang. You rather shake your booty than flip some burgers? Okay, how about make a bed at a hotel? I ain't got time for that either. I don't even like to make my bed in my house. Oh, now that makes, okay, whatever. I'll strip. Yeah, the inner city has no idea about farming. You know what I'm saying? And the crazy part is the city sometimes regulates that. Because everybody can grow stuff in their own backyards or grow stuff in some place and be like, yo, let's teach farming. Let's do agriculture. You know what I'm saying? Nah, we don't want y'all to know that. We don't want y'all to know that. Then Trump goes, they ain't gonna want to do it. Y'all ain't let us do it. Which goes back to hip hop. See how I just made that correlation? Because that's what happened with hip hop. They took away band. They took away instruments. And kids were like, what do we do though? You know what I do know how to do? Spin these records and make this joint rock. You know what I'm saying? Y'all didn't want us to grow because they understood The government understood if we allow y'all to grow in y'all backyard, y'all ain't gonna need the stores anymore. You know what I'm saying? People will just live off of fruits and vegetables all day. You know what I'm saying? Nuts and berries and mushrooms all day. Bread, you making your own wheat. You can get your own wheat, just make your own rice. You will never have to go to a grocery store again unless you need meat. Then you catch up with somebody at the farmer's market, get you some meat. Probably trade off some joints. Like, yo, son, I hit you with this if you hit me with that. Boom, boom, boom. You know what I'm saying? Can up your peas, can up your corns, can up your joints, and you're living. They didn't want us in the inner city to do that. They didn't want us making sure we had that good dirt, that I can grow plants, dirt. Hey, start growing some stuff, son. They didn't want us to have that. So it's not like you wanted us to do it, and then you're asking, oh, he's like, man, they ain't gonna do it. You never gave it to us, because if we would have done it, we would have done it for ourselves and for our community. The government doesn't know what to do. They are trying to figure this out. He talking about going to D.C. because D.C. is this. They done painted a whole beautiful narrative too. People didn't leave after the civil rights march that day, and then they just stayed and just kept it. I swear to God, that was a comment a comedian made. And my thing is that really true? Like, people just went out there and had apparently no job or a housing back home and was like, I like it out here. I'm going to stay here. Yeah. Like it was untouched soil. Like it was like people going out west to try to have a new life. Like they went to D.C. and was like, yeah, I'm going to call my boss and tell him I'm quitting that job. I'm going to hunt for a job out here in D.C. and start a new life. I'm pretty sure people were like, ooh, it's nice out in D.C. The money, the land is cheaper. It's cheaper to get housing. I'm going to go back home. I'm going to stay out here to find a job, get a job, be like, hey, put the paperwork in, finalize that house, sell that house. We're going to flip that money and come on down to D.C. I'm setting everything up. That might have happened. They seen what it was. It was like, ooh, it's cheaper to live out here. Let me go back up to where I'm from and then come back down. Because that's why you had a lot of people from New York and stuff who were living in Atlanta and Virginia and the Carolinas, because it was cheaper to live. You know what I'm saying? That is probably the truth of the matter. It was cheaper to live in D.C. So it was like, ooh, I'm going to come back down to D.C. and just kick it. You know what I'm saying? That's exactly how I think it went. To just take it to this point, because then they're like, we're going to have to run up on D.C. Run up on D.C. D.C. has had the lowest rates of murders in 30 years. Like, what are you talking about? Run up on D.C. D.C. is on a whole... First of all, they've been gentrifying D.C. for the last 10 years. D.C. don't even look like D.C. You know what I'm saying? You got dudes who used to be D.C'd up. They like, yo, does not look like what it used to. Where everything at? They done moved a lot of stuff, shut a lot of stuff down. You know what I'm saying? You might have... They about to go over there, too. But for now, everything over there. You know what I mean? D.C. don't look the same. You picking your spots. And it seems cool to do that because, again, people have a perception of D.C. One thing about D.C. is very black. You know what I'm saying? Once you get past the politicians, it's very black. And that's basically what he's saying. I would like this to be not Chocolate City, but Vanilla Land. I would like this to be Vanilla Land. I want this to be to white people deserve to have D.C. We're right here. This is what we need. Because that's the way he said it, right? The black people just, and then they never left. And that's why it looks like this. That's why the crime's like this. Crime is like that in every urban area because machismo. I don't know. Masculinity, let's just say, I don't know. Masculinity is high. It only time it hits you that you're bragging and fighting for the wrong things. Somebody has to die or somebody has to come in and take over and show you that you fought for nothing. Where I'm from, there was a projects called Woodsong. Woodsong was so notorious. Dudes from New York will be like, yo, I heard I can't be hanging out around Woodsong. People from Jersey be like, yo, I was told not to be out over there hanging around Woodsong. Philly, yeah, man. They say don't, you know what I'm saying? Don't be over there messing around in Woodsong. Dudes, Woodsong dudes, that was the Woodsong Posse. Woodsong Posse was like Public Enemy and the S1Ws and what you think the Boogie Down production was, because at the end of the day, you only saw like 3 or 4 people. But in your mind, you really just thought it was like a group of people. Paid in Full Posse, NWA Posse. You take all of that together. Basically, people thought if you lived in Woodsong and you were a young man, a young adult, a teenager, a youth between the ages of 5 to 25, you were a member of the Woodsong Posse automatically just because you lived there. That's how, that was how wild and radical it was. Like, yo, they part of the Woodsong Posse. WSP was all over the place. You know what I'm saying? They was beefing with the people down bottom. Like, the further you go downtown, you know what I'm saying? They would be beefing with those people. You know what I'm saying? So it was like, yo, dudes was Woodsong Posse, Woodsong all day. They tore Woodsong down. They tore Woodsong down talking about because it had rats and stuff. That's why I had rats and roaches from day one. That joint had rats and roaches when it was Chantilly. You know what I'm saying? They shut it down because they were going to make a school, Heritage High, right across the street. So they had to shut that down. They were like, yo, we don't want nothing jumping off. So they shut the whole joint down. I was locked up with the guy who was from Woodsong. And I listened to his story. He was talking to somebody about something, and he was like, yo, you know, it hurt my heart. I came home one time from being locked up on such and such and such. Woodsong was gone. I had to go catch up with my family and stuff. They live downtown. Now I'm seeing dudes that we used to beef with. Now they the homies all of a sudden. Like, dude, we used to bang at these dudes. Now everybody all good. It's all good with everybody now. Like, what happened? The pain in his heart that he realized that he was fighting for something that didn't belong to him. He was fighting for projects that he could never own. They tore that joint down, displaced everybody. Everybody had to figure out where they were going to move to. And the only other reasonable priced spots for them to live in were downtown. Downtown, down at the bottom. Like, when you young and dumb, we don't know no better. You know what I'm saying? Hurricane Katrina, everybody's talking about the 20-year anniversary of that. You had them dudes repping their blocks. Then they had to go to Houston. Now that's a whole joint. Because now you got dudes who probably were enemies in New Orleans. Like, yo, this is my spot. That's their spot. Boom, boom, boom. Now what they got in common is we from New Orleans. So now them New Orleans boys is on a block in Houston where these dudes is like, yo, this is our spot, son. Who are y'all? Now there's beef. There's still beef because now the one thing that they had against each other, they now have a common situation. We're both from New Orleans. Now we here. So we represent New Orleans then. Again, I was locked up as a juvenile. I seen that stupid stuff. You know what I'm saying? I saw it break down to the most minute levels. You know what I'm saying? When I was in the city, it was Hampton versus, because Hampton didn't have a juvenile joint. So they had to go to Newport News. And that was the thing. Hampton versus the Newport News dudes. Hampton versus the Newport News dudes. Then it was, when the Hampton dudes weren't around, it was downtown versus uptown. You know what I'm saying? If you were from Denby, you weren't from, if you lived from Mercury Boulevard on down versus whatever they thought uptown was, J. Clyde on up. You know what I'm saying? Them people in the middle, they just had to figure out where they were going to go. You know what I'm saying? That was a beef. That was a beef. When there was no more uptown dudes, it broke down to apartments and projects. Where they from Woodsong, they from Newsom Park, they from Marshall Court, they from the Towers, they from over here, they from Walker, you know what I'm saying? Walker Village. You know what I'm saying? Now you're beefing like that. Down to the most minute of beefs. We did that. We ain't care. We was young and dumb. Go upstate. Now it's Tidewater The 757 versus Richmond versus the DMV. All them other pieces of Virginia didn't even matter. Where you from? I'm from Petersburg. Don't nobody care about y'all. Where you from? Lynchburg. Don't nobody care about y'all either. Where you from? I'm from Roanoke. Don't nobody care about y'all either. Where you from? I'm from Damsville. Move out the way. It's all about us three right here. And then you'd mess around and see Richmond and the 757 get together because now it's too many DMV boys. You know what I'm saying? Now it's too many of them. Then all of a sudden, it gets to be too many of them country boys. So now, the whole coastal part of Virginia is going against everything else that's not Richmond. Yeah, Richmond's on our side, son. So all of y'all dudes, your mountain dudes and all that over there closer to West Virginia, yeah, y'all about to catch it. Y'all about to get it. You know what I'm saying? Y'all, nah, son. We go boom. We gonna ride up on them. Again. And then when all of that dies down and a few of them dudes start going home, everything breaks back down into the spaces that it was. All of a sudden, it seems like there's a lot more 757 people. Now everybody starts breaking down to their territory. Oh yeah, all my Norfolk dudes, we here. All my Suffolk dudes, we here. All my P-Town dudes, we here. All my Hampton dudes, we here. All my, you know what I'm saying? Now it breaks back down into that. We are just weird like that. We are programmed like that. You know what I'm saying? So when you think about DC and you go, well, yeah, you know what I'm saying? DC ain't even that no more. They're rarely that. And mainly because a lot of people, like I said, you grow up. You know, you still go, yo, man, I remember that used to be my spot. I'm from that area. That don't even look like home anymore. But it's different. And kids, kids don't even care. You got one group that don't go outside. Got another group that can't go in the house because ain't nothing going on in the house. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm still shocked, thanks to social media, that there's places that are super dead broke. Like, places I didn't even think existed anymore. I'm like, woof. Oh, my God. They still got ghettos like this? What in the world? Where is this place? Who's living like this? What in the, oh, my God. That is super ghetto. I ain't seen one of them since I was a kid. Like, yo, what? Oh, my God. You know what I'm saying? You see the apartment buildings and they got more cardboard. Like, they got the boards over the windows, bullet holes all up in the door. You know what I'm saying? You see doo-doo up in the hallways. Yeah. I'm like, where is this? The kids coming out the house, you know what I'm saying, with the scrawny arms, hair nappy, and they got the pop belly. Like, hold on, what? And they got the Audi. They got the Audi belly button. Yeah, man. You be like, yo, barefoot everywhere. Just barefoot everywhere. You're like, oh, snap. I ain't know they were still living like this. Where is this place at? You know what I'm saying? That, like, I can't remember the last time I've been around some places that has been that bad in my life. Except for when I was a teenager. As a grown man, it was a rarity. You know what I'm saying? It's rare. Like, you know what I'm saying? Homeless people live better than some of these projects. And these people are just on the phone, just kicking it, you know what I'm saying? Just, they got like the easy bake oven stove in their house. Like, yo, your stove is super small, yo. That is crazy. Roaches got whole corner of the kitchen got is black with roaches. You like, yo, B, this is who? Why are you filming? How real are you trying to keep this? You know what I'm saying? Like, what in the world is this about? How do you have roaches like that in 2025? Is your house the place that has all the roaches that exist? That is too many roaches, man. And trying to get food advice. This is how you cook food on a dirty small stove with roaches. He cracking an egg of roach that fell from the ceiling into the eggs. He's just stirring it up and he plicks the motherfucker out with like, yeah, that's gone. Now we good. Anyway. And then he puts it in the frying pan. Another roach done fell in the thing. He's still trying to, maybe it might have been the same roach. He's just trying to get the move. Stirring it back up. Like, yo, what is we doing right now? Who is watching this dude? Why are we watching this? Why are we okay with watching this man cook this food? You know what I'm saying? He go up in his fridge is butt naked to the, you know what I'm saying? He got one of them old school glasses of orange juice with water in it. I ain't seen one of them in years. Yeah, matter of fact, I'm gonna tell you how wild this is. somebody looked at me like I was bougie too, because I said that. Like, yo, I'm like, man, I ain't been in nobody's house where they got like mayonnaise jars and stuff as water, the whole water. I ain't been in one of them joints since I was like 14. What? Oh, you must got cups then in your. Hold on, you taking offense? Are you really about to fight me, man? So you got cups in your house? Yeah. Hold on, you ain't got cups in your house? I ain't got cups. Okay, what kind of cups you got? I got joints you pour in. Plus, we drink bottled water sometimes. So, but if we want juice and stuff, yeah, we got that. Oh, You buy Kool-Aid? Dog, I ain't had Kool-Aid since I was like 13 or 14. Like to drink it? Like buy my Kool-Aid and make it myself. Yeah, no, I ain't done that in a long time, son. I ain't. Ooh. Oh, you just too good for the hood now. What? Dog, Kool-Aid ain't even good for you. It keep the kids quiet. I bet you don't drink quarter water either. I definitely know I ain't had quarter water since the days of 10. You know what I'm saying? Like, I definitely know. After 10, there was no way I was messing my mouth up on no quarter water. Tripping, son. Poking a hole in it, trying to peel it back with your teeth. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you got one of them pieces that fell in a thing. And yeah, no, so I'm good. I ain't messing. Last time I had some quarter water, I probably had one of them plastic water guns and was shooting the water in my mouth. That now when you get older, you realize that looks really gay to just have your mouth on that joint and be shooting it all in the back of your throat. The water just clack, clack, clack. You like, yeah. Somebody watch you do that today, boy. Somebody uncle is in the bushes waiting for you. Hey, I see you really good with that water gun. Come over here. Let me show you something. Now you mad. You like, don't tell nobody. Oh. You want your water gun? I don't want this water gun no more, mama. What's wrong with you? I don't even want that water gun no more. Super soakers ain't no better. Because a super soaker, you knew that was made by a man. You got to pump the joint. You got to pump the joint up. Like, you pumping the joint, and then you shoot off. And the more you pump it, the further the joint goes. So, like, if you don't pump it good, it's like bleep. You got like, you see the dudes be making noises, too. Yeah, son. Whoever thought that was... Black Man was the guy who came up with that. Black Man came up with that. I don't know if he was by himself or he was with... They said it was supposed to be something for NASA. But still, the idea of pumping the thing up. I don't know how like, was he just like... That same uncle sitting around going, boy, you really make that thing go far, don't you? Yeah. So how you do that? I gotta keep pumping it like this, and then I make it. Then when I go, boom, huh? Okay. And let y'all imaginations take it from there. I'm not gonna say nothing else, but I'm just gonna tell you this much: your boy mad about that too. You don't want the super soaker either? No, I don't want the super soaker either. Anyway, getting ready to let this go, man. I'm still mad about this Burger King thing. I just found out about this. Like, I don't even know, like, the Wu Tang, like, when the show was over, I was listening to some music while we were setting up for the podcast, and then it just happened to be on Instagram and saw it. I'm like, yo, this is wild, yo. Y'all fired her? Y'all fired this woman for doing her job. I hope Burger King burns. I don't even know who the second best burger place after McDonald's. It used to be Burger King, might be Wendy's now. So whatever number Burger King is at, I hope they fall all the way to the dead bottom. I hope they start closing down Burger Kings. I hope all the money that they spend on getting people Burger King jackets, because you be seeing people walking around with Burger King jackets. Like, they have a whole jacket. Like, they have a jacket. Like, it's a Burger King jacket and a Burger King hoodie and all that. Like, nah, I hope all of that sets y'all back. Burger King shoes. I don't care, BK shoes with a whole burger on. All that. Yeah, son, I hope all of that makes y'all company crumble. I hope somebody finds out that y'all ain't making food with even 50% beef. I hope y'all gotta do a recall on your beef. I hope everything happens to y'all negative for firing this woman for doing her job. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But with that being said, I'm going to get ready to get up out of here and listen to some more slow jams. You know what I'm saying? I got the joint playing really low so you can't hear it and they won't be striking anything. But they killing it right now. They killing it for real. Yeah, man. East Coast, West Coast, worldwide, Lost Boys. This is what we do, man. This is episode 2, by the way, because I don't think I said anything about that, did I? This is episode 2. Yeah, I said that with Blackceezar. Thank y'all for listening. You know how we get down. They say you only live once. That's a lie. You only die once. So anytime the show God allows you to get out here and continue your journey, please show the world the best version of you. Y'all be safe. Peace.
This is a Soul of Art presentation.